Continuing with our CEO interview series with Ruth Sherman. Ruth, why do you think that many people, especially in finance, can be highly intelligent and skilled technical people, but not as effective of communicators as they could be?
Brett, I'm glad you asked that question, but let me give you some words of comfort here. It isn't just finance, you know. It's across
it's not
the
just
board.
us.
No. And you know, the fact is that people who have always been valued for their intelligence are basically the stuff that's easy to test. It's easy to test, and whereas they used to teach these skills, the skills of speaking and communication in school, that was a really long time ago. They've since decided not to teach those. So I mean, even in primary school they used to teach it, up through high school, and then colleges certainly had it. Now colleges, if you take Speech 101, that's a requirement. But in general, unless you go out and acquire these skills, you're not going to get them. Very few people are naturally great at them, and so you really do have to keep in mind that it's either you get them or you don't get them. So you have to make a decision. The other thing is that people, you know, time is so precious. We're all working harder than ever. Harder than ever. I mean, look, when I first started, I'm not going to tell you when that was, but when I first started, I mean, I remember people going home at 5 p.m. Those days have been over for a long time, for me included. Certainly for business owners, it's over. So finding the time, it's like this is extra. It's ancillary, but it's something that you have to do if you want to see things grow faster than they would otherwise. So I would say, think about it that way. Shift your mindset. It's not just you.
That's helpful. So it's I guess, a lot of people, probably particularly in finance, but a lot of industries think of the very, I'll call them tangible, but quantifiable type of skills. Are you good in mathematics? Do you have certain technology, mathematic type of capabilities that you can easily quantify and test? The verbal, the communication type of skills are harder to test. And it's interesting as people today look at the concept of EQ and emotional intelligence, how important that is. Effective communication is a critical component of EQ, isn't it?
That's correct. It is. And so I think your point about the quantifiable skills versus the less quantifiable skills is very well taken. And I think another way to think about these skills, Brett, is that these are the vehicles to get to those quantifiable skills. This is, how do you let people know that you can do the job if not for communicating it to them?
I guess the point of being able to communicate effectively is critical. We can all come up with the best ideas ever, have the best plans ever, but if we can't convince our team, engage our team, convince suppliers, vendors, investors, whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, if we can't effectively communicate that, it's somewhat all for naught. Given the importance of that, and that these communication skills and being highly effective are often things that come up when we're more senior in our careers, but at the more junior levels, and if I think of where I started my career in investment banking, we didn't have courses or classes around communication. We did around financial modeling, we did around accounting and aspects of that nature, but not how do you communicate better. So it's interesting, as people get more senior in their careers, how can we learn skills better? And maybe you can provide some tips if you think about becoming an effective communicator for people growing their careers, for business owners. What are a few tips you think you can give people to become effective communicators?
I've got one right at top of mind right now, which is not to overwhelm with technical information. As much as we may love technical information, I'm no different. I love the technical aspects of my job, but when I learned a long time ago that if that was what I was going to spend my time talking with clients and customers and vendors and suppliers about, that their eyes were going to glaze over. You've got to be able to support that information with storytelling and with other types of engagement technique. So that's the number one thing that I would keep in mind.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Exactly. Keep it simple. Exactly. Another thing is a lot of people will pass when asked to lead a discussion or to do a lunch and learn or to take perhaps a spot at an industry conference. They'll pass because they're afraid or they haven't done it before or whatever it is. But that's a mistake because this is learn by doing. You cannot get better at this stuff unless you do it. And I would say then another thing is that practice is the key to the kingdom. It's the key to the kingdom. The actor Michael Caine is supposed to have said, practice is the work, rehearsal is the work, performance is the relaxation. And boy, when you've practiced enough and you just get up there and it just flows, that's just a wonderful feeling. And frankly, it's the antidote to stage fright too. So if you get nervous, it's just because you care. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's
nothing
great.
wrong with that.